Good afternoon, Captain TV viewers. Na Reshma, Europe Study Center lende, and this is Europe Study Center வழங்கும் நேர நிகழ்ச்சிக்கு உங்களை அன்போடு வரவேற்கிறேன். இன்னைக்கு நம்ம பேச போற விஷயங்கள் அப்படின்றது ஐரோப்பிய கல்வி பத்தி, அதாவது யூரோப்ல என்ன மாதிரி படிக்கிற ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் இருக்கு, அண்ட் அங்கே படித்து முடிச்சுட்டு என்ன மாதிரி ஜாப் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் இருக்குது, ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் ஏன் மற்ற நாடுகள் கம்பேர் பண்ணும்போது யூரோப்க்கு வந்து படிக்கலாம், இந்த மாதிரி உங்களுக்கு இருக்கக்கூடிய சின்ன சின்ன டவுட்ஸ், என்னென்ன குவெரிஸ் இருக்கோ அதெல்லாம் வந்து இந்த நேர நிகழ்ச்சியில் நாங்கள் உங்களுக்கு வந்து கிளாரிஃபை பண்ணுறதுக்கு தான் வி ஆர் ஹேவிங் திஸ். ஸோ இதுக்கான டவுட்ஸ் அண்ட் குவெரிஸ் நமக்கு அண்ட் உங்களுக்கான எக்ஸ்ப்ளனேஷன் கொடுக்கறதுக்கு ஆல் த வே ஃப்ரம் யூரோப். ஸோ ஐ வில் ஜகிள் பிட்வீன் இங்கிலீஷ் அண்ட் தமிழ், பிகாஸ் நமக்கு நடுவில் இன்னைக்கு யூரோப்லேருந்து and specifically Czech Republic lende Technical University of Liberec. This prestigious university lende we have the deputy head of the international office, Dr. Ivana Pegazhova. Good afternoon, ma'am. It is very honored and very we are feeling very honored to have you in here. And today we are going to talk about all about Europe and all about the opportunities available for students, and it will be a huge pleasure for us if you could introduce your university to us. So before we get into a lot of other questions, first please tell us about the country you're from, about Czech Republic. Please open up that to the students.
Okay, so thank you very much for invitation, and I will try my best to answer all the questions that the students might have.
Thank you.
So the Czech Republic is a country in the center of Europe. It's a small country. It has got only 10 million people. So traveling from one part of the country to another is very easy. It's much easier than in India, believe me. There are not that many crowds. The traffic is not that bad. So I think you will be pleasantly surprised to see that. We also are a country where we still have 4 seasons. So it's spring, summer, autumn, and winter. I am not a very fond person of winter, but our students from abroad really have a lot of fun with snow, and we have got a lot of fun with them when they go skiing or something like that. Definitely we have a different culture than you have in India, and different type of cooking, different type of living, so you will be surprised to see many things, but I think it will open the door to European mentality to you, which will be very useful for your future career when you start working, for example, in multinational companies and so on. I think that the stay in the country will also enable one thing that is really exciting about the Czech Republic. We are so small, and we provide a lot of opportunities for traveling abroad. So when you study in the Czech Republic with your free weekends, maybe free time during holidays and so on, you can easily travel to all the surrounding countries at reasonable cost, because you will be using the Czech traveling companies and so on. So I think Czech Republic is really a perfect country. The only one problem is we don't have the sea. We have no access to the sea. We are a landlocked country. That's why our students also, that was one of the reasons why they decided that the mascot of the university should be a little seal, and he's traveling with me. So it's his first night show experience today.
That is so sweet, and he is such a cute mascot, to be put. But even if students come from here, from India to abroad, when they come to Czech Republic, I think more than the sea, they would be more intrigued about the snow, because we've had enough of the sea our entire life. So the snow is something that is more fascinating and more interesting for us. So I don't think much of them would miss the sea actually. So speaking of the culture, speaking of the climate in there, of course it's an entirely huge change for students coming from India into the Czech Republic. But please tell us more about the Technical University of Liberec itself, and what kind of a university it is, what kind of, when a student comes in there for the first time, what is their reaction, and how well does the university accommodate international students?
Okay, so University in Liberec is celebrating the 65th year of its foundation. And at the very beginning, there were already international students. So that's quite interesting. When you see the old photographs, the students were there already. So some of the faculties are really experienced with working with international students. The one faculty that really has the highest numbers is the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, which is Chennai specialty, and Textile Engineering. Even nowadays, there are the international students from various countries. Usually they count the number of people we are having in our dormitories, and the number is fascinating. I don't know how many countries, I never remember numbers, but a lot. The students will be happy to see that the university is in a valley surrounded by the mountains on all sides. So the climate is very nice, the air is very clean, the place is very safe. The buildings are quite modern. The dormitories have been awarded with the award of the best dormitory in the country several years in succession, so I think that's good. We guarantee accommodation for everybody. And what students particularly appreciate is that we have got quite modern laboratories with a lot of good equipment. And the students from the very beginning combine their theoretical exposure to their practical experience. So I think that's a good thing. The other thing, they also try to be involved in various research projects and so on. The reaction usually when they come for the first time, well, particularly students from India are sort of shy. So when they come, they just look and keep smiling, and very slowly and gradually it starts changing. They will see that nothing is happening, everybody's happy to see them. I think overall the atmosphere is very friendly at the university. And the Indian population, I think we are one of the universities in the country where the Indian community is really visible, particularly because of the colorful saris and all of that. We have a summer festival in summer where this year it was very popular. People were asking about if the Indians are going to have an independent booth again. Because believe it or not, the students, when they come, particularly male students, cannot cook at all.
Yes.
But during the year they
Nor
start...
can female students for that matter.
Okay. They start cooking, and at the end they were participating in preparation of the meals for the other people in the community to share. So that was really, really interesting. Another thing quite important for us, we have got the new ambassador to the Czech Republic from India, and Her Excellency, she came in within a couple of days. She was at our university, so I guess it also shows something about the strength of the Indian community. And this year, earlier in autumn, your president visited the Czech Republic, and I've got some wonderful photographs of some of our students who met him and took photographs with your presidents in the Czech Republic, which was really quite interesting.
Yeah, that is like quite interesting. All right, ma'am. So this is a question that like most parents would ask us, because I, as a counselor, when I meet a lot of students, when I meet a lot of parents, of course, students these days, they quite understand that going abroad, studying abroad, staying all alone, independent, it's like they understand they have to make it a part of their life. But the parents are never ready to let go. And as like, you know, a parent yourself or myself, we would also understand that, but the times are changing. So how safe it is for the students in there? Because this is a question where not only parents of female students, even the male students, they ask like, my child is going out of the country all alone. He's never been alone. He's never been on his own his entire life. So how safe is Czech Republic as a country specifically for international students or Indian students?
I don't know if you have the same superstition like we have. We say touch wood. So I will touch wood that the situation remains the same. We have been very lucky. The safety situation in the Czech Republic is really good, and particularly in a smaller town like Liberec, we have got 100,000 inhabitants. So it's a bigger village for an Indian, right? Yeah. It's very safe. Moreover, the students will never be alone. First of all, it's always me, you know, the substitution Czech mother for the Indians, and I am in communication with a couple of mothers anyway, so I know a lot about the students. When they come to Prague, usually everybody knows about their coming. So the Indian students know, I know about them, the university knows. So they are sort of pushed from one place to another by somebody always observing them, right? And then they reach Liberec. From Prague to Liberec, it's a 1 hour ride on a bus. Czech buses are really very nice, you don't have to be worried. Inside they look like an airplane, and they offer coffee or tea or something, so it's very safe. There is air conditioning, there is a Wi-Fi connection, so they can even send me a Facebook message, I'm on the way, and we will know about them. The moment they come, we create immediately, so today I have to create an email address for somebody, so I will do it because I know he's coming while I'm here. So we create a pass where they can be in correspondence with their parents immediately, and their buddies, the other Indian students, start looking after them, and our special organization, that's the kids who look after international students, will look after them. And then in their free time, because at the beginning the shy Indian students might find it difficult to do something by themselves. So they organize activities for them. They go to walk dogs in shelters, and they go to play with kids in the kindergarten. They go skating or something, but slowly and gradually. I'm happy to see not only the Indian students, but all students traveling to Germany. One weekend I see them in France. The next weekend I see them somewhere else. So they have a lot of fun, and they have been safe. In those years I've been doing it, we have never ever had any problem. Once there was a student who broke his toe when he was skiing. So I think that was the largest disaster we had. Talking about disasters, we have got a doctor on campus. We have got a doctor directly in the dormitory. We have got a dentist on campus. We have got a dentist in the dormitory. The only problem with the dentist on campus is his English is no good. But the one in the dormitory does speak English, and the local hospital is 5 minutes from the campus itself. So I think really, as I say, touch wood.
Yeah, that's all. The parents would be very assured and very satisfied because all they care about is like, of course, my son is going there, he's going to study, and this step in this point of life is very important for him. But then as long as they are safe and like secure, and as you being their second Czech mother in there, and nobody can be a cooler Czech mother than you. So it would be very, very...
I am tough.
All right, okay. So, ma'am, please tell us about the courses the university offers for international students.
Okay, so I can be talking about all of them, but I know here in Chennai it's mainly mechanical engineering.
Right.
Then it's textile engineering.
Right.
Traditionally, these two faculties have invited or attracted the largest numbers of Indian students. At the Faculty of Textile Engineering, we even have got 2 full-time members of staff who are from India. Associate Professor Rajesh Mishra, who has been teaching there for a long time, and now Dr. Mohana Priya Venkataraman, UP, I said it.
Wow.
So she's there. So they have got their 2 representatives. Also, another thing is the embassy has a special registration system, so they will also look after them.
Okay.
Now we have
so,
got a...
sorry to interrupt you. So they teach the students in
Oh
there?
yes, sure. They teach...
So there are Indian professors at Czech Republic? Wow, okay, all right.
Okay, now we have got a full-time member of staff from Pakistan. There is a Russian professor. You know, there are various members of staff full-time, or they come as visiting lecturers. We had somebody from Japan now, somebody from America. But to return back to the courses, we also have a growing population of Indian students in economics, and we also offer courses at the Faculty of Arts and Architecture, and then we have got Faculty of Mechatronics and Faculty of Education, but I will not talk about some of the faculties because they offer courses only taught in Czech, which is what we are not offering to you. We of course offer courses that are taught in English.
All right. So predominantly when it comes to English taught programs, it's mechanical engineering, it's textile engineering, it's the Masters of Business Administration, which is the economics and management from the economics faculty, and then but not much of emphasis on architecture, because mostly the Technical University of Liberec is known for its mechanical faculty because it's like huge, and it has like a lot of connections with the companies and stuff. So what are the requirements, like academic requirements? Because of course the TUL, it attracts students from all around the world. So for an Indian student to be eligible to apply to the Technical University of Liberec, what are the basic academic requirements?
They must have completed their bachelor degree, that's for sure. And then they must have reasonable English. We do not insist on their presentation of any certificates because we know they are expensive, but they should have something what is defined in the European framework for languages as B2 or hopefully C1, fluent English. And for mechanical engineering, they take online tests. So either they succeed or they have a chance to try it once more. They can start preparing in advance because there are some sample questions on the internet. I met a young man yesterday whose score was very high, and he's going to join us next week. So we plan with him, we had a discussion yesterday here in Chennai, that we will prepare maybe some guidance from his perspective about what to focus on when they are preparing. And then, of course, they have to know that they want to study, which means that
they should have focus.
The moment you decide you want to do it, start following the steps that the Europe Study Center will be showing you as important. Because the process is not difficult, but it's quite long. And if you postpone things and do not do the right step at the right time, you may not do it in time, and then you would lose another year unnecessarily.
Right, all right.
In the other programs, apart from mechanical engineering, there might be some other, for example, a Skype interview or something like that. But the mechanical engineers take online tests.
Right.
The tests focus on some theoretical knowledge. It's a multiple choice, A, B, C, D. And then there is some calculation task which you do offline, and then you upload it back, and then it's evaluated by the teachers.
All right. So when it comes to the mechanical engineering, there are online examinations conducted by the university itself. As you said, some theoretical, some MCQs, and some derivatives and calculations. But when it comes to the language requirements, the university usually has a Skype interview to check the language proficiency. So the IELTS or TOEFL or any such kind of a certificate or a mark is not required, basically, because it is also considered for Indian students because of their education background, since
Exactly,
it's like
yeah.
completely in English.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Given that the students study in there, mostly when it comes to India, though there may be like prestigious universities in here, most of the students do not get to have access to practical education, and they are not able to interpolate what they studied. Many students, they graduate, they have their degree, some of them are like college toppers, but then when they get into work, when it's time to get into jobs, students basically lack the practical skills required for it. So how does the education prep the students up? What kind of an exposure does a student get when he or she studies at the Technical University of Liberec?
Mm-hmm. Well, as a technically oriented university, we have got a lot of partners in industry. Mm-hmm. So they come regularly, they speak with the professors, and they keep influencing the development of the program. That's clear. We have got a lot of subjects that are practically also oriented and also theoretically. The students usually say, what we appreciate is the fact that we can not only see the machines here, but we can touch them and work with them. Mm. Also, as part of the studies, they go for various field trips and excursions to companies and so on. And many of them look for part-time jobs. I always keep telling them the first #1 priority for you is studying, but if you are such a good student, you can combine it with working for a company. So they start going to the companies. And for example, the people who start the academic year now can go to the job fair, which is going to be held now in December. Mm-hmm. And the companies start talking with them about their requirements. So for example, the people who are working now already in the Czech Republic, they learned very soon in the program that they needed to know the CATIA program. Because the people from the companies came and there was no job interview. It was just, here is a task, use CATIA and design a table. I remember there was a task. Oh. And the student who could not do it then understood very quickly, and in their free time, with the help of their professors, they started learning. Mm. So you know, the practical advice comes slowly and gradually during the program. They also take part in some research projects from the very beginning. So again, they work with the research teams of the professors, the capable ones from the beginning, developing something or designing something. So I think it's really, really practical. And when they start having the part-time job with the company, and the company gives them more difficult tasks and they can see they are good, then after they are almost ready to graduate, they will get the job offer without really looking for any jobs.
All right. So you mean to say while studying itself, the student is able to understand and analyze what are the industry needs, what are the market needs? Because when it comes to India, it's like a very monotonous way of education, just one book, one syllabus, and the student just graduates. But when it comes to learning at the Technical University of Liberec, the companies kind of advise students on how to build certain areas of their technical skill set so that they can enhance them while they study. So they also get to have practical oriented education, like you said, not just look but touch and work with the machines. Also have some kind of a part-time jobs related to their core, so they also simultaneously understand what are the needs and they prepare themselves. So exactly. Like, you know, that's like, you know, a very layman's perspective of putting it. All right. So but when it comes to studies, now most students, like I told you in here, they have kind of a complex, because here these students are used to a routine. Okay. For example, if there is a semester examination tomorrow, a student, like, they can just sit one day ahead just, they know what to write and they know how to score. So students are used to that kind of routine. So this is the one step that scares them the most. Most of them ask me, ma'am, is it possible to cope up in there? Is it possible to study in there? So how practical is it for a student to cope up? Because this is one of the questions that I always come across when I meet students. So from your perspective, how do students cope up in there, and how is it possible for them to cope up in there?
Well, it sounds like it's a universal thing of all the students that they start thinking about an exam that is going to take place tomorrow.
Right.
I think the numbers speak for answering this question. Among the Indian students, we have never had anybody who failed.
That's a very good sign.
Nobody.
Yeah.
So first of all, when they join us, I keep telling them from the very beginning, do not sit in the corner, silent.
Right.
Start asking questions now. The first moment you reach there, start asking. The professor will see interest and they will go, really, the teachers there are ready to help people who are willing to learn.
Right.
There are all support structures and mechanisms for you to succeed. If you fail the exam, which can happen, partial exam, there are 2 resets.
Right.
So you can learn more, and I've seen it. It's quite fascinating. Even when they do not fail, they have little study groups organized by themselves, and they study with somebody who is more competent in that subject.
Right.
The professors have the open door for you. You can come in office hours and have extra, so not classes, but you can clarify some things that are not clear for. So there will be guidance for you.
Right.
And then, of course, when it comes, for example, Faculty of Mechanical Engineering does one very good thing, which I really, as a former teacher, I appreciate. When it comes to the final dissertation and its defense, they have a trial defense.
Oh.
So they try to defend the paper in front of their friends and other students.
Oh.
And they get some feedback and criticism, and you should do that and you should do this. So when the real defense comes, and there are some opponents from other universities, sometimes even from abroad, they are ready. They have already done that. And I have seen the presentation form, they get the format, it was very impressive, the dissertation paper. And I remember last year, when we had the last dissertations, one of the winning papers was from India.
Oh, okay. All right. So students get to have a possibility of getting constructive guidance from students as well as from their peers, or maybe from the professors. And it's not that big a task. It is manageable. It is achievable. All right.
And there are various student competitions also, like the one for the best dissertation. So during the year, they can try to participate in competitions and even earn some money.
Oh.
Of course, experience, but even
Right.
sometimes some money.
Right. All right. So, of course, this is about going there, studying in there. But when it comes to before getting into the university, now there are students who apply. Now the applications for the fall intake is already open. Fall, as in the classes will start by September or October. But usually when you start applying to study abroad, you usually start the process 1 year prior. So when it comes to applying to these universities and going in there, for example, in the Technical University of Liberec, how should a student also actually prep themselves up academically in here in order to have the right kind of a mindset and a positive kind of an approach to come and study in there?
Well, you know, academically, I do not think you need to do anything special. If you are good at your discipline, fine. Of course, when you know what the exams are focusing on, so study more or return and revive your knowledge. If you feel that your English needs some sort of boost, that will be fine.
Right.
Also, remember that sometimes, you know, Czechs are not used to your Indian way of pronunciation of English. So
Right.
sometimes it might be difficult, and particularly important it is when you come to the embassy for the appointment. If you start like this and nobody understands you,
Yeah.
then they might have a feeling that you are not answering properly their questions. You don't have to be nervous or panicky. They are not going to find any tricky questions. Our experience is that sometimes students go there and cannot really explain where they are going, when the semester starts, where they will be staying. So all the information is provided on our web page. We are ready to provide any answer you may need. Well, Europe Study Center colleagues know everything. And our Facebook is very active. There is a special Facebook group, Indians in TUL. And they, well, just yesterday I was adding 2 colleagues who would like to join us in the future, and they had some questions they wanted to ask in the Indian community, and they wanted to ask mechanical engineers. I'm not a mechanical engineer, so my knowledge is limited. So definitely there are possibilities how to be preparing. Otherwise, I don't think you need to do anything special. Just open up your mind and decide that you want to do it, and go ahead and do it.
All right, okay. So earlier when we were talking, you spoke about this job fair, which happens at the university. So does it happen every year? Every year. So mostly which part of the year, basically? In which month?
It is always in December.
It's always in December.
And apart from that, one big thing that is organized by somebody else at the university, the international office time to time organizes some other events. We cooperate with some companies, and we have invited, a couple of them were willing to come and offer the programs they have, because some companies in the Czech Republic do not offer jobs, but for the fresh alumni, they offer traineeship positions.
Oh, okay.
So they do not start full-time job, but they have some traineeship positions. So they speak about this possibility. A company where our candidates were very successful, I think we have got almost 10 Indians now working there in the western part of the Czech Republic. They came and they spoke, the people from the human resources, they spoke about the experience they had when they had the interviews with them, how the students started working. So they summarized their experience with the freshly joining members of staff for them, and they shared the experience with our students. And again, you know, I said goodbye to them when they graduated, and within half a year I went to the company to have a look how they are doing, and everybody seemed to be happy, both the former students and the company. So that makes me happy, because that's good feedback for our professors again.
All right. And also when a job fair happens every year, so like, you know, technically speaking, a student doesn't have to wait the entire 2 years to get to know what kind of opportunities are available. When the student, say for example, a student enters in the first year, and if he's able to, like, you know, in a matter of 4 to 5 months of his entrance in there, when he has a look at this job fair, the company is coming in, the guidance that his seniors are getting, that kind of gives a boost, an extra kind of a confidence to him. All right, ma'am. So given that you have thrown like, you know, huge light and clarification on the programs offered and everything, can you please tell us about the tuition fees and, like, you know, the living expenses in there? Because one thing that scares most of them is like, oh my God, abroad education is very expensive. And most of the students who come to our office, I don't know about other offices, most of them who come in here are like middle class, upper middle class families who can't shell out 50-60 lakhs, but have the drive to like have good education, good exposure, and also do something in their life. So please throw light upon the financials for our students.
Yes, well, you know very well that I never remember numbers, so I'm going to use my cheat sheet.
Same here either.
I think the tuition fees in the Czech Republic are really favorable and competitive. I think they are among the lowest in Europe. For example, for mechanical engineering, you are supposed to pay $4,000 per year. For textile engineering, 3,000, economics 3,500, and Faculty of Arts and Architecture and Mechatronics is 5,000.
All right.
So you need to collect that sum of money. If you don't have it, of course, you can use a bank loan, which is what some of our students have done. We provide all the documents that they need for that. And you come to the country. The students I have seen so far, and last year when I was leaving for India, I calculated about 60 people there. This year it must be even more. I cannot see anybody really struggling hard. Just the fact that you can see them traveling in their Facebook, they share the photographs, so you can see it's easy for them to manage. The living costs for the whole year, we have estimated at about $4,000. Usually the most expensive part is food, if they like to eat in restaurants and so on. We provide subsidized meals in the canteen. Well, it's no luxury, the meal, but I live on that too. Sometimes people are quite amused that in some European countries, beer in a restaurant would be more expensive than our meal.
Yes.
There are several options, so the vegetarians usually find something also on the menu, though I must say that the choice of vegetarian meals in India is much more impressive. We are not very good at that. That's why some students cook themselves. And the cooking thing is not only sort of, again, learning a good skill for their life, but they always take it as a social gathering. So you can see all the Indians having fun in the kitchen and then sharing the meal and maybe even studying while doing that. The accommodation is included and everything. The fact is that students from India, like all students in the Czech Republic, are entitled to various types of discounts. So subsidized meals in the canteen, subsidized accommodation in the dormitory. With their international student card, they have really cheap transportation in town. We have got elections this autumn, so the politicians were trying their best and they offered really excellent prices of local transportation, so the Indian students will benefit as well. Being in the Czech Republic, we mentioned the fact that you can easily travel everywhere and the students with their discount cards can get cheap traveling around Europe, so that's really a thing they can use. Then, of course, there are some other forms of helping them with the costs. One thing that is provided by all European universities, and we are no exception, that is the Erasmus program. The Erasmus program is a program which was introduced to help all students in European universities to learn more about other countries. Because we believe that all students need to have the exposure abroad. So students from India, like all the other students, when they become our enrolled students, can apply for the grant. They will be paying the tuition fee, but we will give them money and they can spend a semester at our partner university in Europe. If it is a student of mechanical engineering, I usually recommend the other option, and that's work placement. So they have the 14-week semester, then there is the exam period, which is usually, I don't know, 10 weeks or something. So the clever students organize it in a way that they take the exams at the very, very beginning of the exam period, and then they use the remaining weeks and go working in a company. I don't know, there was a student of textiles who went to some fashion designer in London. There was a Vietnamese student who went to Portugal to some research institute. So you find the places and then you use the money. Apart from that, there are some other possibilities, and usually when we offer it, the international students are very active and they come looking for them. So I think that that's one possibility. The other is, we mentioned the part-time job, so they can earn side money. Being a student, you're entitled to having a student taxes, so it's much lower. Also, the bank accounts you will have to open are for students to 26 years for free, so that's easy.
All right, okay. All right, ma'am, thank you so much. You have given a lot of information regarding, I'm sure like the students who were, the parents and the students who were watching the program were very enlightened by the information given. So thank you so much, and such an honor to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And idhukku mela thirupi innoru naal innoru neram innoru university delegate oda meendum ungalaram sandikkiren. This is Europe Study Center signing off. And innum ungalukku information thevai abdina kandipa you can call our numbers. It's 9884457722. And more information ena engaloda ipo vandu fall intake kana admissions open aayirukku. Please check our website. It's www.europestudycenter.com. நன்றி, வணக்கம்.